Hello, this is Eric of Not BIOS, and today I bring you the Wakyme. This is an impact wrench, and you might wonder, Wakyme, what kind of impact wrench is this? Well, this is a different brand, and it's time to check this out. So here we have the box, and inside the box, let's open this up. We have two little clips, the standard things. Open her up. It's a bit of a mess because I did actually open up, take a look, and charge the batteries. So you've got a whole bunch of impact sockets and some more impact sockets in here, this little bag, and another one right here. You'll notice there's a little tab on this thing here, and that's actually so you can actually put a little rubber part against it and a little pin to hold these sockets in. So that's a smart little thing. So the rubber gasket that I was talking about is this here in this plastic bag. So the little tab to secure that little rubber piece is right here. And of course that'll hold your sockets from coming out. Then we have the drill itself, the impact. You can see the front end is open, and that's so you can actually use sockets with this. So it makes the impact have a little more versatility. And then so the battery itself I already have charged. I just slide it into place, done this like that. Nice thing, it has slow and fast, just by pressing the trigger differently. And you also have a speed switch on here as well. So, have your low speed and your high speed. And then in reverse, you have the same sort of idea. Slow to faster. Then you also have a button switch, which when you press the switch here, you'll make it go partially in reverse and stop. Usually this is the one I like to use for removing tires and stuff, like the nuts. So this little device here connects to the front of the unit, and this allows you kind of an extension. So now I can actually do work at a distance, hard to reach places. This is a useful little thing. And it just sticks in there with a magnet inside it. And it happens to include two of these batteries. These are 21 volts, and they're simply released by pressing down this little part here. Now you may wonder about battery level and such. Well, that's on the device itself. You can see these little lights. Reverse and forward. That's your standard drill idea. So this is nowhere, it's locked in the middle. The one is reverse, and the one is forward. Oh yeah, it has a little light too as well. So if you're working in the dark, you have something that allows you to see when you're in the dark. It comes with a charger, a strap, so you can stick a socket right in there. Done. And the main thing with this though, is it has so much torque, you're gonna actually strip your screws to heck and put them with too much force. That's where an actual drill where you can select the amount of torque you can put in is a better idea. So this is something that you might want to use for just tossing it in slowly. So for those of you that don't know about a torque selector, what I'm talking about is right here, where you can actually make it so you're not going to tighten as much. Now let's get outside and test her out. And you can see it's set to 100 foot-pounds. That's what you use in Canada. I don't know what your country has. I have it set just a little higher, so it should be like 102 foot-pounds. But that's just to make sure I have a full 100 foot-pounds. Now, what I want to do is tighten them first. So I'm going to tighten each wheel nut to this amount of weight, amount of pressure. And I'm going to actually twist it twice. That's one. I'm going to do them all. I'm not going to test them all. I'm just going to make sure that I don't accidentally end up on one that's loose. Normally I go diagonally, but it's close enough on there. I just loosened them off just a little bit before I started this recording here, just so I didn't have them tighter than 100 at this time. Because this car is rated for 100 foot-pounds. Now if I want to, I could use that on there. It's a matter of lining it up on this one. But anyways, I'm going to use the included one. So right now we align this up and out those pinholes. Okay. Now we're going to stick the pin in. This way it doesn't fall off, but you can choose not to use this. I'm just going to use it just to show you. And then I'm going to put the rubber over top. And that's going to stop the pin from falling out and the socket from falling out. Then I'm going to use that one first, then the one that always turns. So there's two settings. So this is the auto stop, and this is the full go. So let's try the auto stop first. Huh, that worked. I didn't think it would. That is freaking cool. Okay, let's try the other setting. And does it stop automatically or not? Okay. Oh yeah, that worked. And be careful ever try to torque it back on, because you'll break your nuts off, like your actual screws, if you're not very careful. Because that can tighten way tighter than you want. I'm shocked it actually pull more, but it worked just fine for my car. So let's make sure we're tightened properly. I didn't want to go too far, so I didn't have to snap these nuts. It's the nice part about the semi-press on the trigger. You can stop easier. Okay, now we're at a truck that's 135 foot-pounds or more for torque. I tried my torque wrench set to 135 and it clipped without even moving the nut. So I'm going to see if this works. And you can see it came loose. And now I'm going to try the other way where it goes partial in reverse. So see if this works. So take nuts off the truck can definitely work. So I see no problem with taking nuts on and off using this impact wrench. Set to 135, so now let's go tighten it up properly now. Now for the sake of comparison, I'm going to compare it to my 20 volt Mastercraft. This is one of those Canadian Tire products in Canada, and see how it goes through this chunk of wood down here compared to the Wakyme. And the Wakyme has two different settings. I have this on the most powerful setting for drilling in, so let's see how this works. And that's that. So we can probably see that now. I'm gonna get a close-up on that after. Now what I want to see is this one. So I'm going to take, oh, this is nice. I just undo the chuck on this one and I just slide this in to here. So nice and simple. Now let's see how this works. Holy crap. Let's try high speed and see if that makes a difference. Gonna release this one. Okay, and now on the high setting, high speed that is, let's see how this works. Okay, let's get in the camera easier so you can see better. Okay, now start drawing. And it's sunk either way, right to the wood, pretty much. So yeah, the Wakyme just totally slams it in. You can see the difference between a regular drill, it's not a high cost mind you, versus an impact. This really has an impact on the screws. Now I got this little bit here, and I took off the wind muff, so we might get a little bit of wind noise, just so you know. And some people experience the magnet inside coming off, but I have not experienced that yet. Now it's nice and flush, as you see. Let's get a nice view. So I managed to get it to about where I want it. So that's the nice part about being able to slow down or speed up. The nice part about it not just sinking really hard. Now I'm going to put it as hard as I can and see what happens. And I bet you that top has came off. So I bet you now if I try to take this out, it's going to come right off the top. Like the nut head of it's going to come off. Let's see what happens. Oh, no. Okay, put it back in. And change the speed setting. Except this particular bit is not very friendly. Wow. So you can just strip the threads, like the wood itself, that you can't even thread it anymore. Auto stop, that's what I want to do. Auto stop here, and see how this works. Before to auto stop it out. Kind of cool because it doesn't release it fully. And then I put the auto stop too and take off the nuts. Is it, of course, doesn't take it right off, so you don't have them falling everywhere. Okay, now let's try destroying this. Holy creepies! I sunk it so deep. I literally sunk that right in there. So for those that didn't know, I bought this with my own income. There's no being provided this tool for a review. I decided to review it and try it myself because I wanted to put my car tires on and off. But it's interesting to see how this works. It's not exactly easy to work with when it's like sideways like this. But yeah. So for something that's really hard to put in, I would recommend doing it this way. If you'd like to purchase the Wakyme impact wrench, links will be in the description below, as well as the torque wrench used in this video, and as well as its bigger brother, which is a lot easier to use for trucks. The small one's good for cars, but torquing the truck tire nut is a lot harder with a small one that you actually saw in the video. But this big one is very, very easy to use. Now, what are my thoughts on the Wakyme impact wrench? Well, the magnet, as you saw, eventually came out. And if it does come out, glue it in right away with, say, JB Weld or something, because otherwise it'll shake around and it will crack, like it did to me, because I didn't glue it back in. It still works, but just letting you know. And in terms of the case itself could be improved by allowing more places for the different sockets. It has a place for 3 different sockets, but you have like 7 different ones. Other than that, it works quite well. The battery level, having more than 3 indicator lights would have been nice, but that's just nitpicking. And so value, great value. Can't complain there, works well. 21 volt batteries, I don't see where to get replacements, so you might have to get a different brand. Just make sure it matches up to your actual impact wrench. Thanks for watching, and have yourselves a most wonderful day.
This is not BIOS, tech and hardware.